Thank you. I declare the meeting, the ordinary meeting of the Shire Council for July open. Thank you, Council, for your attendance, and thank you, Mick and Tony Watts, for attending. Thank you. Good to see a couple of members of the public here. Shire Council acknowledges the traditional owners of the lands within the Shire and acknowledges the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island people who reside within the Shire. Council, I call for apologies and leave of absence for councillors for this meeting.
Mr Mayor, I received apologies from Councillor Bruce, Councillor Brewer and Councillor Walker.
Councillor Taylor, happy to move those apologies. Councillor Jackson, happy to second. Put that, all those in favour? Yes, carried. Moving on to minutes about Councillor Taylor and Councillor Jackson.
And Jackson moved and seconded.
Sorry, Jody didn't get that. Moving on to item 4 of our agenda, the confirmation of the minutes of the ordinary meeting held 27th of June. Someone happy to move those minutes to true and accurate record of that meeting. Councillor Whiteley has moved, seconded Councillor Jackson. Councillor Whiteley.
Mr Mayor, yeah, I've read the minutes. I think they're appropriate to the meeting and the recommendation.
Councillor, any comments, questions, corrections required to those minutes before we put that? Being nothing, we'll put that. All those in favour? Against, carried. Item 5 of our agenda, disclosures of interest. I'll refer to the General Manager. We have received. With it. Councillor Joe.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Just in regard to item 4 under the report of Division Management Services, I would like to declare an interest. Travel Preferred Supplies, my husband's company, is listed as one of those businesses.
We've got some information.
I don't believe it's a significant interest that I will need to leave the room for, but I do think it's an interest.
Because the matter is on delegation, delegating authority to someone else, no councillor has an interest.
So, yeah. Disclosure of interest remain nil.
Thank you.
Item 6 on the agenda at the mayoral minutes. There is no mayoral minute. Item 7, reports of our committees. The first of those being the meeting of you and Waste Depot held on the 8th of July. Someone to move the recommendation, the information be received and noted there. We're missing the chair of that committee. Someone have to move that. Councillor Whiteley, you have to move. Councillor Jackson, you're happy to second. Councillor Whiteley.
Whilst I was on the committee and wasn't at that meeting, Councillor Bruce was an apology. I moved the motion and asked the GM and Director to make any comments on the minutes.
Mr Mayor, I'll move to manage the health development. A couple of matters on there you might want to talk to.
Thank you. Through you, Mr Mayor. As you can see in the minutes, there is the matter of NRAT requesting council to legitimise what they believe to be illegal flood works that have come from investigation works from the previous flood. So that will involve the submission of a development application for council for continuation of use, so that will proceed. We've made some inquiries into the provision of a greater return and earn recycling facility. Investigations have revealed that because our population is less than 2,500 people, that they're unable to provide that service. So further investigations will happen in that space because we believe that we do have a very good case study for that service. Happy to take any questions if anyone has any questions.
Councillor McCloskey.
Just in light of the investigation of the illegal levy works that were done back when, at the end of the day, worst case scenario, could we ask to remove the levy?
Through you, Mr Mayor, yes, they did. We had an on-site meeting and discussed our options. The other option is to remove them.
Or get development consent by Warwick Shire Council
Yes.
for the levies that have been there for somewhere between 50 and 70 years. Same as the road.
Yeah, I say if it overreached by another.
I won't pour water on it.
We are, Mr Mayor, we are writing to numerous people at the same time.
Mr Mayor, wouldn't we have a precedence of use on this? So it's been there for so long, surely no need to pull it down.
We'll work our way through it, Councillor Kinsey, I believe, and see where we end
I
up.
can answer that question for you if you like. So I did actually inquire as to whether the existing use rights clauses under the Environmental Planning and Assessment Act do exist, and I've been informed that they don't. It's actually a continuation of use rather than an existing use right, because they're deemed illegal.
We'll work our way through the process, Councillor Kinsey, I believe.
Good luck with that.
Yes. And just one further question to you, Manager Health and Development, regarding the implementation of a waste levy, which we at present don't contribute to. It's only the bigger councils who do that. What sort of implications are we seeing there that will come to fruition?
Yes, thank you, Mr Mayor. Net Waste put in an objection to the proposed waste levy introduction. Yeah, Council has also made an objection as well. So at this stage, it's just for consideration. Yeah.
Mr Mayor, but the implications are we probably have to put a weighbridge out there, someone to man the weighbridge and to charge. And that's a terrible implication for a facility that's less than 2,000 tonnes a year. And it's not even licensed because it's less than 5,000 energy. That's the magical figure. Something like that, between 2 and 5 as a guess. So.
There is a very strong objection to it in the Western region. Yeah.
Thank you. Councillors, any further comments, questions, information source regarding the recommendation of the UMR Waste Committee? Nothing further, we'll put that. All those in favour? Yes. Carried. Moving to the meeting of the Warren Public Arts Committee held 15th of July. Councillor Jackson, you have to move. Thank you. Second, Councillor Derrick. Councillor Jackson.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I would like to point out to my colleagues the main item of discussion for our final public arts for this term of council was around the work to the facade of the women's amenities at Victoria Park. So the funding is predicated on there being an Indigenous Australian content to that artwork, if you like. So there is a lag between the time that this work has to be done and the break-in council. So the election of the new council. So what the committee determined is that we would begin the work of actually getting expressions of interest and design concept ideas from interested parties in that interim period, so that the new committee can pick up on any work or any design ideas that come in. And the General Manager might like to shed more light on that if people have questions about the detail around that. And the other thing that came out and was pointed out is that community members who are currently on that committee will continue to be on that committee. There is no, that won't turn over, only councillor representation that will turn over. And that's if anyone has any questions, I would recommend, Mr Mayor, that they put them to the General Manager.
So we're working diligently and asking certain organisations to become involved and help us to make sure that we've actually got a suitable Aboriginal artwork that's very related to our area. One of the very interesting things, the second part will be a lot of the signage, as well as being for blind people, will also have the Aboriginal language for the signs as well as English, which would be very key, and something different. and so the one organisation that we hope that can help you are all the people who are learning the Whale language through taking at the Warringah Art Centre, and it will be crunch time because it will be either October or very early December meeting that decisions will be made on the final artwork and engaging someone trying to finish over the Christmas New Year break into early January to have that artwork as we're finishing the building, which reported further on in the meeting is probably a February, March finish anyway, which is good timing as well, which has improved the time to get everything done.
Councillor, any further comments, questions, information regarding the minutes of the meeting for the Warren Public Arts Committee? Nothing further, we'll put that. All those in favour, against carried. To the meeting of the Managed Committee held on Tuesday the 16th of July, looking for a mover and a seconder for that. Councillor Derrick, happy to move, thank you. Councillor Jackson, Councillor Derrick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just happy to move that. Thank you.
Question, please.
Sorry, Councillor Whiteley.
Could the gentleman manager comment on 6.1 emergency preparedness and managing procedure? Changes in that, what's required or what are we doing?
That's the internal emergency management preparedness procedures for buildings and the like.
Yeah.
And work health and safety risk coordinators finalising that. There's a little bit of outside stuff, but mostly relates to our facilities. Mayor, of course, annual report time. So everyone's starting to get delegated work to including itself, Mr. Mayor. Big push, timing. Human resources, you can see the positions that are vacant, so anyone who knows who'd like to come and work for us, please. We're just, the main thing is the allocation to get everything done for the annual report, which takes some time over the next couple of months.
Thank you, Mr. General Manager. Any comments, questions regarding the minutes of the Manix meeting? Nothing further, we'll put that. All those in favour, against carried. Our agenda reports to delegates, first of those being the ordinary meeting of the Castlereagh and Macquarie County Council held on the 24th of June. Looking at Councillors Kinsey, Councillor Kinsey happy to move, Councillor Whiteley happy to second, Councillor Kinsey.
Yeah, well, it was a fairly successful meeting, Mr. Chairman, but we've actually taken on the Broken Hill Shire, or whatever,
Yep.
but only as an inspection basis. So we tend to go out there, inspect, find things that we don't want to find, and report them.
Yes.
And then if they're not reported, they can't do anything about it. So basically, it comes from Broken Hill and probably pick up a few other councils on the way back down, I suppose. And I must admit, I was a bit cautious about doing it, but the more I think about it, the more control we get over these jolly weeds, the better. So it will stretch us a bit, but we intend to employ an individual at Broken Hill. So if that all pans out and it's all good, it'll be for the better for sure. The other one is we've got a cactus out here called Herbaceae cacti. It comes in several different forms. They don't all look the same, but it's got the same label. We've got a bug that actually eats that stuff, or will kill it. It takes a fair while. So that's jolly positive because it's a difficult thing to control. It'll be growing up in a tree and you don't even know it's there. I've had it on my place and driven past it 20 times. Knocked the tree down and then found myself in the tree. So, yeah, hopefully that will have a good good outcome for us, because it's very prevalent in the Narromine Shire on their western boundary. So that joins us. I think there are other things that maybe Greg might have something to say.
Absolutely.
Aside from the meeting, I was involved in the performance review of the General Manager, Mr. Urquhart. For those who are not aware, Mr. Urquhart, previous while with GM, is now in semi-retirement and working for the County Council part-time. The normal process, as we would do with our General Manager here, happened, interview and etc. I'm happy to say that Mr. Urquhart passed his test and is happy to continue as a contractor. And just backing up what Councillor Kinsey said, the Broken Hill in the western area that and the unincorporated area, the decision was made to contract our services, not to invite them to be a member. A bit like we do with the RMCC road contract, that we will get administrative services and broaden our. The object is to broaden our base so that we don't put any more onus on our member councils. It's a part-time thing, and with Miss Fletcher, our biosecurity officer managing it, and having availability of a 2-day-a-week person in Broken Hill. It's in the lap of God's how it goes, but I'm confident that it will be a benefit to Kennington.
District Councillors in question, how we Hudson's Care, how's that whole program progressing, and then the outcome of that, the African box thorn meeting we had?
Firstly, with the Hudson Pair, it's a complicated issue now with LLS, Local Land Services, being involved. There is also state government has I'm not quite sure of the latest title, a biosecurity officer now, and the main area of the was burnt in the bushfire, and they're finding that whilst it hasn't killed the plant, like the stone dead, the regrowth is made the biosecurity bug more active in that area. There is still recalcitrance, if you could say, so the free chemical or doing spraying at cost is offered. There are some areas, like all human nature, some are taking it up strongly, some are not. And there is still a push to put more pressure on do our work and document it so more pressure can be put on the courts for recalcitrance. As far as the African box thorn is concerned, this coming spring there'll be more of the bug offered around. The CSIRO is overwhelmed by the applications for the bug, and it can only be produced in a serious, lab, and not something we can do on the backyard here. But it has potential. It will not kill the box thorn. It just makes it sterile. It won't spread in the areas. As Councillor Kinsey said, a productive morning and a half. I commend the way that the board of the council and general manager run the organisation.
Thank you, Councillor White. Councillor Kinsey.
Just on that Hudson Pair, Mr. Mayor, fire doesn't kill Hudson Pair. You can stack a bonfire on top of one of those plants and eventually it'll come back up. because it has some self-preservation thing in its root system and come back up through the root system. This is an extremely difficult thing to deal with. But I think if we get a bug that's, obviously we have one that's going to chew this stuff up, it'll probably never be 100% satisfactory, but if you can't get people to spray it, well, what's the option? Thank God for the bug. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor, any further comments, questions, information sought regarding the minutes of the Castlereagh Inquiry County Council? Nothing further, put that, all those in favour? Yes, carried. Moving on to the second item in the reports of our delegates, that being the meeting of the Warren Agency Support Services. Councillor Derrick, happy to move. Councillor Jackson is happy to second. Councillor Derrick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Walker, for preparing such comprehensive minutes. Just a couple of things to add to what was included in those minutes. So the survey that's mentioned regarding the transport link between Nevertown and Warren is hoping that will be finalised by the end of August, and the survey period will be 2 weeks. So that will be a mixture of in-person and online surveys to ascertain the need for transport link between Warren and Nevertown. The Health Services Expo is mentioned in general business. I would just like to draw the Council's attention. So that is something that is noted as an action item in our current community strategic plan. So the general consensus from those in attendance was that they would be in support of such an event being held. We do also have the Grow Expo that's been running for a number of years, but this would be ideally something a little bit more, I guess, specific to health services, a little bit more narrow than we would be attending that. Also, most importantly, I would like to formally offer condolences to Felicity Leonard and her family. Felicity's been a consistently active member of our interagency group for a number of years. Our thoughts are certainly with her at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Derrick. Any further questions, comments regarding interagency support service? It's important. Nothing further with that. All those in favour? Yes. Carried. We've got item 9 on our agenda. The reports of council in this being the policy area. First of those is working with policy. Recommendation there, the information received noted, and the working with children in brackets child protection policy for adopted. Someone happy to move that? Councillor Taylor. Thank you, Councillor Taylor. Second. Councillor Kinsey. Councillor Taylor.
Just moving recommendation, Mr. Mayor. Seems to be minor alterations to the existing policy. I assume that all our relevant staff have that particular course done.
Get part of human resources and relevant, and just making sure you've got working with children's check.
Thank you. Any further comments, questions before we put that? Councillor Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was just wondering if this also covers vulnerable people in general, or is there a separate policy for vulnerable people working with vulnerable?
This is a working with children's check. Working with children's policy, not vulnerable people.
I realise that. I was just wondering through you today, do we have a vulnerable persons policy at this point?
Any further comments, questions regarding item 1, working with children, child protection policy? Nothing further, put that. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Item 2 of policy, review council social media policy. Someone happy to move recommendation, with the information received and noted, the amended social media policy placed on public exhibition, and subject to no adverse commission comments. Adopted. Councillor Jackson, you're happy to move that way. Second, Councillor McCloskey. Councillor Jackson.
May I just move it as recommended that information received and noted, social media policy be placed on public exhibition, and be adopted if there are no need for renewal of the context.
Councillor McNaught, there were just a couple of minor amendments to the existing policy. They were highlighted in red in your business paper. One particularly that it be reviewed in 4 years' time as opposed to annually. Is one of the minor changes there. There's a couple of other minor changes, but nothing.
Yeah, that's right. There is a pretty reasonable chance that we will soon become experts with industry, but mostly economic development and visitation, because that's what even the older visitors need to Instagram.
Any further comments, questions regarding the review of council's social media policy? Nothing further, we'll put that. All those in favour? Yes. Carried. Item 3, the policy area, closed circuit television and workplace surveillance policy. Someone again happy to move the recommendations there at the top of the business paper. Councillor Jackson, you're happy to move. Thank you. Second, Councillor McCloskey. Councillor Jackson.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I just move this motion in terms of the recommendation.
Any comment? Councillors, I'm just having a discussion with the General Manager. We're seeking some more information about, most in the policy, the information, as in the surveillance of CCTV cameras, will be effectively deleted after 30 days. And we had a question yesterday at our meeting with Deputy Mayor and I about whether that was the appropriate time frame for storage of information. Noting, of course, the police can have access to this information as well. So General Manager sought some, so it's 30 days, to do an extra to 30 days.
Around 60 days is to double the size of the storage would be another $10,000 extra to keep the same quality. From what I gather, the 30 days is a norm across the industry. So it, to a certain degree, it means that, and this happens, people have to actually take action within 30 days or it will be lost. We haven't got any advice to provide on whether the cloud would be cheaper. So I believe our current code practice is 30 days as well. And a couple of draft policies we got from others were all 30 days as well.
So, questions, Councillor McCloskey first, then Councillor Wade.
Previously, just in light of the 30-day period, have we found or had instances in the past where potentially the 30 days have lapsed and there was a need to source evidence at a date longer type of thing, so 45 days for instance or anything? So is there a potential, given that information's been lost in the past, that we need to go to 60 days or some other period?
Seriously, at times with the current, the only ones I'm involved in at present are the 4 cameras on the roundabout. And yes, there's been, I don't know how many times, a good number where the police have asked for stuff outside of 30 days.
Outside of 30 days.
Councillor White, then Councillor Taylor.
So just to clarify my own mind, the 30 days is the rolling 30 days. But once an incident has occurred, we can save that period for infinite.
But yes, that's get saved. That's the idea. Yeah. So look, the budget is only so far for the 30 days. So 1 year, make a decision. Okay, we don't want to put another $10,000 into it. You could put another $10,000 into it from working funds or whatever, and go from and change the whole thing to 60 days. Up to you, Mr. Mayor.
I think there's questions for Councillor Taylor, maybe.
My suggestion would be, through you, Mr Mayor, is to stay at 30 days. I think that's more than adequate, from my experience. If the police come up for 30 days, that's their fault. They should have plenty of notice of the incident. What we do, we think, is suspect the incident, we actually take it, put on a thing and say, you know, so you've got it back up. Just got another slide through you, the question of the general manager. The surveillance, obviously all the staff have signed a declaration that they're under video surveillance.
No, we just, they've already had, they're already advised, they're under, and the signs, and that's part of the process that we follow.
Just through experience, and again, the line that we get them to sign, our staff, to sign a declaration that they're under video surveillance. So if push comes to shove down the track and you haven't got that sign, then you have to take legal action. For instance, they're illegal standing.
Our policy is just that there's consultation undertaken.
Thank you. Councillor Hoskin, anything else? No. So, Councillor, as it stands, recommendation stays as it is. Any differing view that someone would like to change the recommendation? I think I'll let the police know that 30 days is the rolling period. Then they can take the appropriate action. We can take the appropriate action to record something, as Councillor Taylor's suggested.
They can go on themselves.
Yes. So, Councillor, any further comments, questions regarding the closed CCTV workplace surveillance policy? Nothing further, we'll put that all those in favour. Against, carried. Move on to reports of the General Manager. First of those being the outstanding reports checklist. Some of those have, as you'll see, been highlighted for action being completed. Someone happy to move the recommendation regarding the outstanding report checklist, the General Manager's report. Councillor Derrick, happy to move that way. Councillor McCloskey, happy to second. Councillor Derrick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Happy to move, and I would expect the General Manager to go through first the asterisks, or those that are asterisks being removed. Thank you.
As read, those lovely asterisks with grey is very helpful.
Yeah, I choose to agree.
Thank you.
But Mr. Mayor, we're trying to do that across all our communities as well. It's very, and first good thing that came out of Barrack, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Whiteley.
Can I just ask the General Manager, is there any of those in his report there that won't be mentioned in other reports or other later on in the meeting? Is there anything you need to comment about?
Oh, yeah, I understand. Is there anything in this report that is not covered in the other report through the business paper that you feel as though you need to comment on?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Yeah, we're working pretty hard to try to finish 2, 3, 4 projects for openings on the 22nd of August. So they're all not guaranteed. Certainly one is guaranteed, which is the airport opening on the 22nd. Lots of reports are heading towards the August council meeting, but it's all subject to resources to be able to get the reports written and completed. Otherwise, the new council will be considering a fair amount of renewed or tidied up policies.
I'm looking through all these aspects of market matters, and I think we covered all of these in one form or another at the last meeting or the meeting before. So,
lot of tenders going out for advertisement. At least a couple of major ones very soon. Which hopefully one will be the sewage, the lagoon, the new lagoon, and the big levy rehab works. So will go to the hopefully the 24th of October council meeting, both of them at least.
Councillor McCloskey.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, just in light, particularly the airport that's going to be opened on the 22nd, Does that mean 100% of the works will be completed, i.e. the drainage works down the bottom of 0321 into Eagle Avenue, will that be done too? So it'll be a walk away, no more to do? No more to pay?
I'll be corrected. I thought that the only thing that might be missing is the physical drain, but the drains I thought were done.
The pipe work under the fence and the pipe?
That's the only bit that might not be done yet.
That's not me, everything.
It should be, yeah, unless it pours rain. Terminal building, a good place to go.
Yep. That's the power.
Through Mr. Mayor, I was out there Tuesday, gathering the general manager, the surrounds of the new terminal haven't been tidied up yet.
Oh, yeah, the grass, the irrigation is then grassing just before the 22nd.
Councillor White, nothing else? Councillor, anything further on item 1 of the General Manager report? Outstanding reports checklist. Nothing further, we'll put that. All those in favour? Against, carried. Our councillors, in recognition of Warren being a healthy town and to keep awareness of a healthy lifestyle, council will be standing while dealing with item 2 of the General Manager's report, being the committee and delegates meeting. Someone happy to move that those meetings be received and noted. Councillor Jackson's happy to move. Councillor Foster happy to second. Councillor Jackson.
I have no further comment to make. And recommend it as submitted. Thank you.
The document has been amended to include the 13th of July 2024 official opening of the Warrawingi Arts Centre. Just so you know, the official document.
I express my thanks to Councillor Whiteley and Councillor Kinsey for attending the Narra Field Day. Thank you, councillors, for doing that. I think it's always worthwhile for us to be part of those events, and appreciate that you were able to do that. So excellent. And partake in your other role was a bit of a roads inspection on the way home, I understand. So that was good as well.
We had to get Councillor Kinsey out cold.
It wasn't the most hospitable day. Nonetheless, thank you for doing that. Much appreciated. Anything further, item 2? Meeting delegates meetings? No further meetings to be added that aren't in our calendar? Nothing further, we'll put that. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you, councillors. Item 6, reports of the General Manager, the Works Progress Report, Infrastructure Projects. Again, someone having to move the information to be received and noted with those asterisks in place, or the grey shaded areas now, suggesting that those parts of the projects have been completed. Councillor Whiteley, you have to move. Thank you. Councillor Kinsey the second. Councillor Whiteley.
I commend the report to council and ask the General Manager questions. Basically, it's good to see some grey appearing.
Now the report's getting smaller and smaller. We need to make sure we get some more grants to make it larger and larger. The Infrastructure Project Management Office is trying to finalise as many projects as possible in their area. And helping town services and the regional management services, particularly with levy, which is another big one that we're helping with.
So can I just ask the General Manager with our grant writing capacity with our development manager and across the board? Have we got enough power in that department as far as time frame for Sylvester, our town services manager, our development manager, whether we've got enough very busy people, have we got enough power in our grant writing and grant looking for staff, or do we need to outsource some of that?
Real major ones, we we'll call it, we've strummed it. So several of us are working on it, and even the major ones, we've got some help from outside as well, if we can afford it. The problem is just lately, there actually hasn't been any grants to actually apply for. And it's very concerning, and I'm very pleased that the Country Mayors Association has actually taken it up. It's taken it up, and we showed them our status of grants, whether roads or community infrastructure grants of nil for almost everything in 2023-24, and there's not many councils in Country Mayors that aren't the same. And so they've actually got everyone's filling in there, and I'm very pleased that the questionnaire is almost based, 99% based on our list. We're not missing out on Commonwealth grants at the moment, but they can, we haven't been too successful with Commonwealth grants except for roads. Building better, things like that, we haven't, not many of us have been successful, but most of the time they're actually almost like 50% of $7 million projects or $10 million projects. One different though is the $10 million one at the Warren, but they have different circumstances. Capacity is there, we're just waiting for the grants. And look, what it actually means is we're looking at not just the big ones, we're looking as much as possible to miss nothing.
Mr. Mayor, if it's all right, I noticed our Director of Engineering will speak to it, I suppose. We've missed out on a few lately. Is that because of the financial situation, or the grants have just shut off, or is it? I think the gentleman just answered my question that the state government is drawing back on some of these.
Commonwealth-wise, we've been unsuccessful with a few of our roads ones, but we're going to keep going with them. Like we've got some large ones that we'd like to try to win for a Regional Road 333 or Regional Road 202 a little bit further out. We'll continue to, fortunately the work's then half done for the next one. The next one, eventually we will be successful, we hope. A lot of the safety ones, we need to be more unsafe to get.
Yeah, catch 22.
You've got a fair amount of work that you've done ready for others as they come along. Just be patient. We'll be doing lots of flood damage for a while,
I think Council, just as an overview, I think in Mark Colton's latest newsletter, there was the relative spend on the roads in the cities, and Newcastle Wollongong has increased considerably more under the present federal government than regional and rural councils' roads, and it's quite, I think it was almost getting towards double, which means in terms of increase, double increase in the cities compared to regional and rural. So I think it's symptomatic of government as opposed to our inability to actually get the grants. So they're just not there, is probably what I'm saying. The bucket of money is so small that it's spread across so many people that you're invariably going to miss out at times. But we'll keep, as the gentleman said, we just keep batting away. You never know where it might end up. We are always hopeful. We present a good case that money can. Mark, who remember is a great advocate for us. So hopefully we can continue to benefit from his help. So you might want to comment when you come to the road section when there's number about 3 or 4 where it says unsuccessful. Just go through those. Yeah. Council, any further questions, comments regarding item 3, works progress report of the General Manager, Constructive Project? Nothing further, we'll put that, all those in favour, against carried. Item 4 is reports of the General Manager pertaining to the Local Government of New South Wales Annual Conference. Someone happy to give a recommendation that will occur in November of this year, is that correct? That's correct, yes. Councillor Jackson happy to move, Councillor Taylor. Councillor Jackson.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. I move that recommendation as stated, and note that it always seems to work very well to date, and there should be no reason why it's not done, even with a new term of council.
Thank you. Any further comments, questions regarding item 4? The Local Government New South Wales Annual Conference? Councillor Whiteley.
Tongue in cheek, Mr Mayor, do you think the inner west and Randwick will find their way to Tamworth?
It could be a more interesting conversation than, yes, we'll give them a map, Councillor Whiteley, might be helpful to get out of Sydney for a start. Again, being facetious. Councillor Derrick.
I was going to say, through you, Mr Mayor, I think every second conference is held in the regions, but the last one we weren't able to attend, that was in the Hunter Valley. So I'm not sure what attendance was at that, but yes, I was thinking along the same lines as Councillor Whiteley. But yes, it'd be good to see it in town. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Any further comments, questions regarding item 4, reports of the General Manager pertaining to the Local Government New South Wales Conference to be held in Tamworth? And sorry, Councillor, yeah, you will note that it's being set up for the future, so we don't have to go through this process every Local Government New South Wales Conference, which obviously are annual. And further, Council will put that, all those in favour, against carried. Moving on to the reports of the Division of Finance Administration, item 1 of his report, reconciliation certificate. Someone happy to move that reconciliation certificate? Councillor Kinsey's happy to move. Councillor Jackson happy to second. Councillor Kinsey.
Move the recommendation, Mr Mayor. Looks pretty healthy, don't it?
So, Mr Mayor, currently we've got about $9 million invested. A chance that and so there's in about a week's time, and how much comes out. How much comes out in a week's time? 29 million invested. 3 million comes out. So there's a chance that probably another 2 will be grabbed from our cash, and so we probably hopefully have 11 million invested so far. Just watching them. We're trying to get as many grants paid as possible, so we've got as much money in the bank as possible. Everyone's, and that's without $3.4 million of flood damage that we're still working on getting all the documentation right, which we're hoping to have finished by about the 2nd of August to actually get it all paid. So as soon as that gets paid, even more to the bank to try to get, we're getting 5s to 5.3.
So, Councillor Whiteley, sorry.
Just, the gentleman, your director, following on, how the figure that we used with Regional Minister Jack the other day, how much we're out and the time frame of getting that back.
2nd of August, we don't know how quick they'll do.
But
we're trying to aim for the 2nd of August to get everything into transport for New South Wales, and then we will, on hands and knees, try to say, please pay us quickly.
it would be truthful to say that Jenny Atchison was trying helpful on that regard.
Yes. Yes,
So the political influence, excuse me, General Manager, political influence, Mr Mayor, is trying to push Transport New South Wales to pay their bills as soon as possible, because she is aware that we're not alone in this regard.
So, just to be clear, we've got invoices in that haven't been paid to the amount of?
No.
None?
No.
That's all been paid?
No, the for flood damage stuff, where the invoices have been finalised or been paid, but we are trying to finalise in accordance with transport requirements and reconstruction authorities requirements, all this documentation to try to get paid another 3.4 million.
Thank you, that's
Because
clear.
visual manager helped me. The problem is that Practical Plus, our financial system, doesn't quite align the information to be in accordance with the Transport for New South Wales and RAs and the Commonwealth NEMA's requirements. And that's what we have to keep working on to get it as close as so they can actually approve it, because it looks as though it's in the right format. Your summary?
Yep, pretty much. So there's just additional information, and instead of us just saying, you know, this job, this road, whatever, we've done this much flood damage, and it's $1 million hypothetically, they want to see individual detailed transactional lists and whatnot, and incorporate, you know, defining what plant or what credit will be paid, materials will issue to it, that sort of thing. So given the complement of council's existing accounting structure and the extent that we can chop and dice that, so to speak, in reporting, it's a little bit difficult at this point, but we're seeking support from the software provider to get that happening. It should be, and we've changed our accounting structure to suit it better as well moving forward. So it should be a bit easier than now.
Thank you. Just a question to the Division Manager of Finance Administration. We've only got, according on this side, at item 1 here, reconciliation at June 4. Yeah, so it's 3.2 actually invested, earning of say 5%. So we do have some. Was there that at a change over a period, or given there's 11 million around available, is there? Traditionally, we tried to have a fair bit more invested at that higher rate. Was that a change over a period, or what? Can you explain what?
Yeah, so just at the period of June, we weren't sure how things were going to roll out, what was going to be paid or not in terms of, you know, large buckets of grant monies coming in. So they arrived towards the end of June, and I've actioned that in July, which you'll see the next.
Thank you.
That's what it's saying. Say there's $9 million invested.
So, you say that again.
There's $9 million
Actually
invested.
invested, I suppose. Yeah.
The $2 million of it will come out within a week, go back to be invested, and the Division Manager thinks around another $2 million, and hopefully even more, but another $2 million to be $11 million invested.
Thank you. Any further comments, questions regarding item 1 of the Division Manager of Finance Administration's report? Reconciliations clear? Nothing further to put that. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Moving on to item 2, the Division Manager of Finance Administration's report, being the statement of rates and annual charges. Someone has to move the recommendation. Councillor Derrick, happy to move. Councillor Jackson, happy to second. Councillor Derrick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No questions. Thank you.
Could I just make a comment and then a question regarding, when I look at the water fund and the sewage fund, the arrears a little bit higher, well, considerably higher in those compared to the actual rates. Is there something that we need to be aware of? I don't quite understand that.
So from my view, through the water fund, I'll start with that. At the end of June, we're still owed, I haven't billed it at that point, the consumption.
Yes. Yes.
So that's one factor for the water fund. The sewer fund, part of it is the same thing in relation to residential sewer consumption, which is a factor of their water consumption. It's not shown here because it shows the overall percentage across the 3 funds, which is consistent around the 95% mark year on year. However, what that says to me is that the order of sewer funds probably consistent with those sort of numbers at the end of the year as well. So I can go back and compare previous year figures to sort of get that trend if you want to apply fund individually. But,
There's an explanation, thank you.
so the rates are levied for the year, that includes an annual charge for water and sewer. So that's reflected a little bit. The only variable is the consumption or user pays aspect of water and sewer, where at the end of June, they kind of owe a order that hasn't been billed at that point. Typically, it's not billed until July, August, due at the end of August. So,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, that 2.13%, I can remember 1.5% in mid-90s to 2000, but 2.13% is good. There's not many countries around here.
very good. Through you, Mr. Mayor, just one change in reporting compared to prior months at this time. The way the system's structured, at any given point we have monies that comes in on a given day for a couple of days, potentially, where the system shows it as an unallocated receipt. It hasn't been posted off an individual rate water accounts. So I factored those in just to get a finite, proper view of the figures at the end of the year. So I included those as basically being paid, which they were, but allocated off those funds. So it's a pretty accurate kind of picture.
Yeah. Any further comments, questions, regarding the statement of rates and annual charges? Before we put that? Nothing further, we'll put that. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Moving on to item 3, reports of the Division Manager Finance Administration pertaining to infrastructure projects. Someone has to move the information retrieved and noted there. Councillor Whiteley, happy to move. Second. Councillor Kinsey, Councillor Whiteley.
I commend the report to Councillor and ask the Director if you'd like to comment on when the purchases from the Office of Electronic Record Management System.
So this figure, the budget includes the carryover estimate from 2023-24 year, which was roughly around 50,000, I think it was 51,000.
Yep.
So I haven't committed that as yet. Normally we operate on a fully committed basis. I think off the top of my head there's roughly around 60,000 implementation costs for the electronic records management system. It's kind of going to be a staged program up to December this year, hopefully, when we're up and running with it fully. There's a bit of a variable in there, so I haven't actually committed it, but yes, that expenditure will roll out pretty quick from now on. Once we get a new server in play and set up and running, it'll start to kick off further on.
Thank you. Is there any further questions, comments regarding infrastructure projects in the purview of the Division Manager of Finance Administration? Nothing further, we'll put that. All those in favour? Yes. Carried. Moving on to reports of the Divisional Manager of Engineering Services. The first item 1 being the Works Progress Report pertaining to roads. So I'm happy to move the recommendation there, noting the large number of grey areas that mean it's been ticked off, and then at the end I'm going to discuss in this section where the roads grants were. With regards to your comment there. Someone happy to move that recommendation pertaining to roads works progress report. Item 1 of the Division Manager of Engineering Services. Councillor Whiteley, happy to move. Thank you. Councillor Barrett, second. Councillor Whiteley.
I commend the report and ask the Divisional Manager whether he'd like to lead us through that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to draw your attention to page 10 of the report. You see 3 grade items there. So these safer roads and infrastructure program, that's the federal grant program, the new one, has replaced 2 grant programs. That's the heavy vehicle safety and connectivity program, and also the previous remote program. So we were informed that because this new program is coming in, any pending grant applications under this heavy vehicle program and the previous remote program would not be considered. So then later we got the advice, the official advice, that we were unsuccessful in these 3 grant applications. So because we were unsuccessful, we are trying again to submit 2 grant applications under the new program. So as you can see, under previous new program, we had Peneringa Bridge. We are putting that back in, and then we had also sections of Warren Road for rehabilitation. So instead of that, we are putting in the Wimabank Bridge and some road rehabilitation on the approaches.
Thank you for that. Councillor McCloskey.
Through you, is there just a question I noted in the future works that are happening? Oxley Road, we're going to spot grade it. We're not grading the whole road.
Mr. Mayor, that's just in response to the customer request that we received. Considering also the volume of work we have, we can't quite dedicate resources to that at this point in time.
So you're going to spot grade potentially 20, 30, 40% of the road, whatever, and the balance of it's going to be left, not done.
So we're going to prioritize the most critical sections.
I can't see the sense in doing that. Because the road, the part of the road that's left that won't be graded, is assuming is all right now, will deteriorate at a faster rate than what's done, and then you're going to have that section bad and that section good. Why you just don't go through and do the lot while the plant's there?
Mr. Mayor, again, we have resources challenges.
Thank you, Councillor McCloskey. Yeah, well, noted, and we'll see.
Long. Take you 2 or 3 days.
Thank you. Councillor White.
Was it was mentioned earlier, while Councillor Kinsey and I were at Marrafield, we, without permission, did another 100 kilometres or so in a council vehicle. Hopefully we won't get a shuttle scrap for that, but divisional manager, we did drive down the Booker Road, and because it was brought up a number of times at the Marrafield, there was a couple of police going there as well. Our comments, and Councillor Kinsey might mention it as well, the black section of the Booker Road, obviously everybody's aware that it's now deteriorated to be underground level or lower than ground level. It also is, the season down there is such that it is very, very wet, and impossible to do anything at the moment, even if we had the money. But our suggestion to our organisation divisional manager is that we need to somehow work out some way of keeping the vegetation under control, or you won't be able to, as it dries out in the summer, form it up because the vegetation is such. And we brought that to notice to the general manager and his staff. The other, going around to the Monkey Bridge, Corinda Road, we did notice that the last kilometre that I presume is in our Shire to the actual Corinda Road meeting the Bree Corinda Road, whilst we have top dressed and managed most of it remarkably well, and it looks magic, the last kilometre has not been done and is two-wheel drive, wouldn't be capable of handling a two-wheel drive car. Just the last kilometre to the intersection of the Corinda Road and the Corinda Road. Is that ours or is that Shire's? And if it is ours, why did we leave 1 kilometre virtually impassable in the wet?
Mr. Mayor, is that Corinda Road or Billy Bingburn Road?
Billy Bingburn Road.
That section belongs to Walgett.
The last kilometre is Shire.
From Corinda Road going towards Bree.
Yes.
For around 10, 11 kilometers, that's Walgett.
Shire.
Walgett Shire right to the rear at the Bremen turn off, 17 k's.
And then it comes back into Shire.
Yes.
Yeah, it's, I apologise, it just seemed very strange to me. We might mention to the Walgett Shire that it's completely impassable. Yes, there is no argument, there is major structural works, black works, as you would to be done down there. The road is below ground in a lot of cases.
Mr. Mayor, so just to clarify for councillors who may not understand, Billy Bingburn Road is a boundary road. There's an agreement between Shire Council and Walgett Shire Council to, instead of only grade one side of the road, we put no grade the other side, it's actually split lengthwise. So that you say first 10 kilometres or so is Walgett's, and the next it's actually off and on a little bit too. But you should know, you're engineer both. So and I think we might have done a little bit of flood damage in other locations, but not that section.
Mr. Mayor, well, I then take back my concerns and I congratulate our.
It got put after that, didn't it? No. Is that true, Mr. Mayor? It got pretty good after that.
We came from the Bremer end, obviously, from the Brooker Road intersection around the first part, which I've now thought that is in Shire. Congratulations, Sylvester, you guys have done a good job. It magnifies my comments about Walgett Shire.
Thank you, Councillor Whiteley. Good news, I wondered whether the Division Manager of Engineering Services might have commented on page 4, looking at the proposed budget for the RMCC contract. Page 50 for scheduled maintenance, which I think is good news for us in terms of work that can be done that will be worthwhile for our point of view. Comment there first.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, that 850,000 is comprises both routine maintenance and scheduled maintenance. So the scheduled maintenance are things like shoulder grading and culvert cleaning. So it's a specific scope that will give us to complete another program. So routine maintenance is normally around about 250,000. So the rest of it will be paid.
Yes, it's really good. So you say 250,000 for routine maintenance, which has a fixed upper limit, say for 250 or whatever the case may be. So the balance being 600, is that store for capital work like reseals, heavy patching and the likes, is that?
No.
No?
That's for culvert cleaning and shoulder grading. Then the rest of it will be for portals and signs. And
so then the reseals, minor rehab, heavy patching and the likes, and will be outside of that scope or that funding.
We don't know about it yet, but they actually are aiming for maybe another $1.4 million heavy patching program at least. Which is really, Mr. Mayor, it means that one, they're happy with us and also do see some requirements to get this section of our road up to scratch. I mean, I'm very pleased with almost 17 kilometres of being resealed now.
Just again through you, Mr Mayor. Collie Station on the highway, you may or may not be aware of it. Do you know where Collie Station is by chance? It's probably 5 kilometres this side of Collie, roughly. There is a crack down the middle of the highway. It's that wide.
And one of those killed Andrew Shire.
Yes, the last section of work was done by Gil.
It's actually happening in a few locations.
It's, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you rode along there with a bike, you'd bloody near put,
Yeah.
yeah.
Understand what you're saying.
So about 2 kilometres Collie side of the border.
Yeah, past the Collie Ball,
Yeah.
towards Collie. It's right at the Collie Station front gate. So you go down past the ball, swing a slight left-hander, go down about another half kilometre, and it's there, in the middle of the road.
Thanks for that, Mr Mayor.
No, we didn't, Paul.
Yeah.
Really made engineering service can take that up with the RFCC.
How, surely it's been picked up in the inspection regime and it'd raise a red flag somewhere, because the intervention level would be tomorrow.
So maybe it probably has, I haven't just said.
That's not that, sorry, you just became aware of that.
No, I'm saying, it probably has been picked by the inspection.
Yes.
Yeah, it's only that I haven't seen it personally.
Yeah.
But not yet. Thank you.
Thank you. And just a comment, oh, sorry, Councillor White, you,
Just not on that subject, on roads generally.
you go. I've just got one question.
Obviously, the RMCC contract, we're making money out of it, we're doing it, we're putting a lot of resources into it. I fully understand constraints of people and weather and individuals. It is highly monetarily successful for council, and we're doing the job well. But we also need, from our ratepayer base point of view, to balance our local and regional roads and our access roads. And whilst the reporting requirements and the work we're doing is highly, the reporting requirements are onerous at the best of times, and we are, and on the financial point of view, where it is monetarily successful as an organisation, we need to, keep the likes of the Booker Road and others on our agenda.
Point well made and point taken, I believe, Councillor White. It's just, as you're well aware, it's a start. People on the ground issue, we've got that 5th grader crew that we can't operate because we don't have staff. It'll be a juggling act, and I'll take it on board. And the division of engineering services, we've talked about this. So, yeah, it's just managing what the resources we have to get the best outcome. Just one question I was going to pass to Division Manager of Engineering Services on page 7 and over on page 8. We're in the capital works in progress, and you're just scoping a whole lot of reseals, etc. All this nominated 136,179. Is that was just a ballpark type figure? Until you scope the job, is that how that was set up, or?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, that's the scoping, detailed scoping is complete. So, yeah, we will review this one, but we're not expecting too much movement of that figure.
Okay.
We are going by the past experience.
Thank you. Sorry, Councillor Kingston.
Mr. Mayor, on that Booker Road, that northern end obviously belongs to Green. Shouldn't we be trying to negotiate a better arrangement on fixing that piece of road that's not up to standard compared to ours? That's for a start. The second part is that if we don't do that, kill that grass now and keep it dead until we can get a grader in there to do something about it, then we're going to be wasting a lot of time trying to manually or physically handle that grass if it hasn't disappeared. And if we start spraying it tomorrow, it'll still be there in 3 months' time. So we probably won't get the road fixed in 3 months' time, but at least the road will be in a condition where we can fix it. So I can't extenuate enough that we should be doing something about that road for as far as the middle of the road out as we possibly can. And I suggest we get Castlebar before he can, council to come in and do it, or find one of the local cockies around there who'll be willing to do it. Because it was mentioned, when Greg and I were from out of field notes, that they probably would be interested in doing it. So, saying that nobody can do it is not quite right. And also, a couple of those young fellas there are up and going. They go-getters, a lot of those cockies out there. They actually said, why can't we run up and down there with our grader and keep it maintained? Well, Greg and I were both there at the time when this question was asked, and we said, you can't. But you've got to come and see our engineer and sort it out, or engineer go and see him, whichever. But when the graders get out there and try and sort that road out, that'd be a good time to talk to these young farmers, or grazers, or whatever they are, and get this stuff sorted out once and for all.
I think it's been duly noted by the Division Manager for Engineering Services, so yeah, take it on notice and we'll see what comes. Information back particularly to the Roads Committee, I think, Councillor, would be the way to operate this one.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just have a very quick question for you to Sylvester, if I may. Just regarding that rehabilitation of the industrial access roads, and that it's known as a safety risk, and many heavy vehicle users and people who move their farm implements do complain about the condition of sections of that road. Was there any feedback on why it was unsuccessful, the grant application, any sort of useful feedback, and are there any other irons in the fire to continue to look at getting that piece of road sorted?
Mr. Mayor, under this program, the reason for it being successful was just that they're doing away with the problem. Basically, with regard to future plans for the road, I'm looking at doing the economic study of the road, because that would increase the chances of being successful in kind of for it. Case in point, when we did applications for the two bridges, there was a economic study done, and that I think really put us up, because the people who are dealing with the grant application see the PCR and the net present value were up to scratch. So I'm looking at doing the same for the success of before the application.
So does it make a difference that that's our road, and that's a local road as opposed to a regional road? Does that make any difference in terms of applying for funding?
Not really. All I want to see is what benefit the road brings to council and the region.
Yeah, there's $250,000 still to go on Shire 91 program, and there's some flood damage work on Shire 99 as well. So yeah, it will be improved. Yeah. So the intersection with Old One Road and that area there is going to still, there's $250,000 to tidy up that area, and you've got 100,000 or a little less than that for flood damage.
Yeah, less than that for flood damage.
So Councillor Jackson makes the question, there will be some work done, but it might not be the perfect job that we all want to have done. Thank you. Any further comments, questions regarding item 1, the report of the Division Manager of Engineering Services pertaining to roads? Nothing further, we'll put that. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Item 2, Division Manager of Engineering Services report pertaining to town services. Someone has to move recommendation there. Councillor Jackson, Councillor McCloskey, thank you. Councillor Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just move the recommendation that information be received and noted and invite people to make comment on any of these items that they think need to be brought out to us.
Again, a number of grey areas, meaning things have been achieved. Just on page 23, Councillor, just a question regarding the hollow water supply. And in the notes there, work under development, it does say chlorination equipment to return water supply to potable status. That water has never been potable, has it, in my view? No. So I think we just need to be careful about wording in that. It's not being returned, it'll be to even get it to potable status, because I think that gives a false impression that we've been neglectful perhaps in letting it go backwards, when in fact it hasn't, just never been at that stage. Councillor Morsky.
Just in light of the water and that, and given the wet through this mess, the wet weather I had, we flush our mains every 3 months, particularly with reference to the river water mains. I don't know about Councillor Taylor, but I managed to turn my hose on water the lawn yesterday and it come out and ran. Puke. Much the same as it was back here a number of months ago. I mentioned it before. I think Councillor Taylor at the time alluded to his water smelling the same, but yesterday when I turned the spray on, it was red.
Just take that notice.
Water moving, the water's laying in the mains.
Councillor Kinsey.
Mr. Mayor, that just reminded me that there's a major leak at Nevertire at this point in time, whether it's in the southern corner of Clyde and Narromine Street. And it's actually where the school is. And we've had issues there before, but I just noticed it coming in, so I didn't get time to go and investigate. So somebody might have been flushing something or whatever, but it's a team to go and pass, so please have a look.
Councillor, on page 25 regarding the bulk water readings. Noticing we're well below our allocation in most areas, but when I look at Nevertire, 87% of the allocation used out of the 40 megalitre allowance, is that licence adequate? And that's what, I mean, we're getting close to the limit, so perhaps we just need to consider where we are at that, given there's potential for development in Nevertire, which we've seen, you know, Belgrade and those people going there. I think we just need to be mindful of where that water allocated, what the licence agreement, or the licence is there, the water access licence is. So, Councillor Kinsey, sorry to you.
Yeah, just to back that up, Mr. Mayor, I believe that probably 10 years ago, even further, we weren't using 20 meg. Here we are using, whatever, 35 or something. Yeah. And if you get a major leak, like maybe what I just stated is a leak or it isn't, I don't know. But it certainly throws an easy out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, just take that on notice and we'll have to do Water New South Wales, I guess, and just have a conversation. Councillor White.
On that licence, on the licensing for the 4% down, is that finalised and all legal?
No. Still season. Working on it, working on it.
We are in a potential situation.
Yes. Councillor, any further comments, questions on the work program report pertaining to town services? Nothing further, we'll put that, all those in favour, against carried. Item 3, reports of the Division Manager of Engineering Services relating to the workshop. So I'm happy to move that. Councillor Whiteley's happy to move, second, Councillor McCloskey, Councillor Whiteley.
Having moved the workshop prepared thing and specifically can the divisional manager comment on the repairs to 1 John Deere grade? The head gasket or
Plan 28. On page 32, Councillor.
is that
What's happening there?
Mr. Mayor, take that. Yes.
You might just come back to us after morning too on that one, just where it's up to. That plan is done a fair number of hours, has it?
Yes.
Yeah. That's it's not there. Okay, let's get some information more into it and the division manager of engineering might come back to us on that one, Councillor Whiteley, so we know where it's at.
thank you.
Any further comments, questions regarding to the fleet in the workshop? Item 3, the divisional manager engineering services report. Nothing further, we'll put that. All those in favour, against, carried. To item 4 of the division manager funds, engineering and engineering relating to procurement and request for preferred supplier status, local trades and commercial services. Councillor Whiteley, I believe you have a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You see the report, and I formally move the report. Do it with the.
This is what, Councillor Whiteley, I suggest this is what you're moving here.
Yes.
Those three, what was in the report, in the recommendation.
Number 2.
Plus the additional.
Moving number 1 and a new number 2.
New number 2. Which I'll read. The Mayor and General Manager be delegated the authority to consider, formally appoint, formally remove, if no longer viable entity, vendors from the attached list as preferred suppliers and add to the list according to the Council's procurement and disposal policy for local trades and commercial services for the Warren Shire Council for the period ending the 30th June 26 under contract C 1390.
Councillor Whiteley's moved that. There's a second. Councillor Kinsey. Thank you, Councillor Kinsey. Councillor Whiteley.
Councillors, Mr. Mayor, this just gives the flexibility to the Mayor and General Manager to combine to adjust the list of local suppliers. It's not taking away from anything that the report involves. I am the feeling that this area needs some further thinking, but this gives the flexibility to the Chairman and the Mayor to change our local supplier lists at reasonably short notice, and I commend the change to Council.
Councillor White, if you want to overcome was in the report there, you will have noticed that to change the preferred suppliers, you have to come back to a full meeting of Council, and Councillor Whiteley's addition to point 2 there means that then it reacted on much more quickly rather than every preferred supplier that changes coming back to Council. So in my view, a worthwhile addition to the motion or the recommendation as it's still issued. Councillors, any comment? Councillor Jackson.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just wondering about the just as an example, the restaurant at the golf club or the golf club. Is there a reason that would not be on this list?
They are.
Yeah, what are they? Which one are they?
33. Yeah.
Councillor, unfortunately, this list is not exclusive. There could have been businesses missed, so they can be added. Councillor Jackson, if you could bring that to the attention of the General Manager.
33 gold medal proprietary limited Chinese restaurant at Warren Golf Club. Just there on page 36. Yeah, we had to get the name. We called it just Chinese restaurant originally.
So I just excuse my ignorance, it just means that, we don't get services provided by sporting clubs and local associations and things like that, it's purely commercial businesses. Is that right?
I don't understand the question, Mr. Mayor. What services? CWA doesn't provide any services anymore for catering. If they did, they would be on there. But, I mean, help us, Mr. Mayor, Councillor?
I mean, community organisations, they're not considered to be providers of commercial services if they do something like catering. That's just my question through you, Mr. Mayor. That's all.
To my knowledge, I'm not aware that we've used organisations like that except the CWA, and we checked that they don't do it anymore. Have we missed someone, Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Mayor, the only other organisation that jumps to mind is the hospital and auxiliary ladies.
And we checked with them and they don't either.
I mean, relevant point is we can add or subtract as required, so it's not, Councillor Jackson, not set in stone, we can amend it as we like. It's not.
We tried our hardest to make sure that we didn't miss anybody. And, certainly trying to look back at creditors we used in the last 12 months to 2 years. And those two we just mentioned, we actually checked, because a long time ago they did, CWA ladies and the hospital auxiliary. And
I think Councillor Taylor might have a question. No, sorry, Councillor White then.
Just a comment, Mr. Mayor, through you, that sometimes when you're trying to be ultra specific, you actually a reverse, if you know what I mean. So I think that my proposal is good. The general manager and the mayor together can comment and change, and that sometimes when you try to be 100% accurate, you're 99.9 wrong, and that gets picked up. Sometimes it might be better just to leave it as local supplies.
And Mr. Mayor, it's very helpful to say council procurement disclosure policy, because you're not a local until you actually had a local address for over 6 months. You can't just come in and say, I've got a PO box. How long you had a PO box? How long have you been local? And we're trying our hardest not to miss anybody if there's a chance.
Councillor, any further comments, questions, information sought regarding item 4, Division Main of Engineering Services report pertaining to the preferred supplier status? All those in favour? Against? Carried. Moving to the reports of the Manager of Health and Development, the first of those being the development applications approval. There are nil in terms of development applications. We don't need to information received. No, I do need someone to move the fact that the information received. No, Councillor Whiteley happy to move. Second, Councillor McCloskey. No comments, questions. Thank you. Put that all those in favour. Against? Carried. Moving on to item 2, Manager of Health and Development reports pertaining to the work progress reports, various matters. Someone happy to move the information received and noted there? Councillor Kinsey's moved. Councillor Jarrett second. Councillor Kinsey.
Just received a note of this, Mayor.
Couple of grey areas which is good pertaining to grants having been acquitted.
as time goes, we'll make sure that it's a mixture of, all the progress reports will be a mixture of projects that are getting carried over and 24, 25 projects and programs, just to make sure that everything that's relevant in the budget for this year is included. It's not 100%, but just makes sure
Just a note on page 7 there, just the 140% of that retaining wall certainly makes a difference in terms of mud in this winter period we've had, mud running down onto the pavers, the access to the chain link. So yeah, that was certainly worthwhile spending that money in replacing that log walls. Yeah. Can I see any further comments, questions regarding item 2, reports to the Manager of Health and Development? Nothing further, we'll put that. All those in favour, against, carried. I'm just wondering whether it's appropriate. We've moved through these and leave and at the end of the content and more to there. So, Council, on our agenda, item 10 is the notice of motions, questions with notice. I don't believe we have any of those. 11, matters of urgency. Do any councillors have a matter of urgency that they wish to raise? There's nothing new on that. And Councillor, I think we should adjourn this meeting for morning tea and welcome our guests here and have morning tea with them, and then resume the meeting with our confidential session with the Committee of the Whole Closed Council after morning tea.
We record and then stop.
Councillors, we've resumed our ordinary meeting for the month of July. We see a couple of potential candidates here taking in an understanding of what our meeting procedure is. Councillor, we now move to Committee of the Whole Closed Council. I need 2 councillors, please. Move in the second a resolution to move into Committee of the Whole Closed Council, and the second resolution to exclude members of the press and the public. Councillor Taylor's moved that way and seconded Councillor McCloskey. We'll put those both together. If Councillor Taylor and Councillor McCloskey are happy with that, we'll put that. All those in favour, against, carried. Council, we resume our ordinary meeting after having been in Committee of the Whole Closed Council. Now that we've resumed our open meeting, we need a resolution to adopt the recommendations from the Committee of the Whole Closed Council. The 2 recommendations coming out of that.
For the upgrading of the swimming pool amenities and facilities, the Council approves the allocation of an amount of $81,000 from available internal restricted funds for infrastructure improvement and replacement fund to cover the funding gap to undertake all necessary variations works at the Warrendale Memorial Olympic Swimming Pool Complex to complete the amended project scope.
So a mover and a seconder, and that was moved in by Councillor McCloskey and Councillor Taylor again. So you have to move that in open council. Thank you.
And Mr. Mayor, in regards to the Victoria Park.
Sorry, we probably need to put that first. Yes, Councillor, I'll put that. All those in favour, against, carried. And the second resolution to come out of Committee of the Whole Closed Council, the General Manager will read that shortly.
Mayor, that the Council received and notes information in this report to propose the infrastructure projects Victoria Park female-friendly amenities block, that in accordance with provisions of Clause 178(1)A of the Local Government General Regulation 2021 of the Local Government Act 1993, the amended tender submitted by the Precinct Commercial Proprietary Limited with recommended tender amount for the rescope works of $593,334.88, excluding GST, be accepted for contract number C13-85 with the construction of the Victoria Park female-friendly amenities block Warren St Giles. 3, Council authorised to fix the seal of council to contract number C1385 for construction of Victoria Park female friendly amenities block for Mrs Miles Can. The council provides an amount of $202,549.88 from available internal restricted funds for infrastructure improvement and replacement to cover the funding gap to undertake all necessary work at the Victoria Park Sporting Complex for the construction of female friendly amenities block.
Councillor Taylor and second Councillor Jackson, you happy to move that way again? Councillor, any further comments, questions, information source before we put that? Nothing further, we'll put that. All those in favour? Is carried. So that concludes our meeting, councillors, and thank you for your attendance. Reminder of our next meeting, the 22nd of August, which will start the meeting and then go to